All right, hey y'all. So I wanted to do a get ready with me girls chat, kind of like an update video about my life, but also just to see what's going on with y'all. My hair may look a little bit wild. I'm like, I really don't know what I'm gonna do with it. It was curled and then I uncurled it, and I don't know. All right, so updates. Let me get all of the important stuff out of the way. I have Siren School that is now open for women who want to embody their siren energy. The link will be in the description. And I also have my Stan.Store where all of my astrology services are. And then I have my PayHip store where all of my new oils and everything are. Okay. So I wanted to talk to you guys about some of the shifts that have been going on. Y'all know we have Saturn and Aries going on right now, which has been very impactful for me. We also have a Jupiter in Cancer, which is also highly impactful for me. And if you have placements in Cancer or Aries or any other air or fire sign placements, this is affecting you too, because you're going to see, why am I doing that? I'm about to do my makeup first. You're going to see major shifts in these different areas of your life, depending on where it is in your chart. So as for me, I have been really in my strict girl era. It took me a really long time to get here. Just being transparent, it took me a long time to get here. And I am the person who people would be like, girl, like, why you didn't take XYZ action when it happened to you. Not because I am, give me a second. Not because I am just this exceptionally nice person. It's just that I was not trained to have boundaries. I was actually trained quite the opposite. And just speaking of handling business and whatnot, you know, please go visit my Substack, sirensermons.substack.com. I will also put that in the description. It is, these are a collection of some of my writings. And I talk a lot about Black female oppression and how we have been sexually and psychologically and even physically oppressed through just a lot of things that go on in this system of patriarchy that also embodies the system of white supremacy that we are also under. So I have a lot of talks about that, or I have some articles about that and some more coming, talking about the Jezebel myth, which is going to be really impactful. That one's going to post tomorrow. So go subscribe to my Substack. It's free to subscribe, but members do get some information that I do not share with the masses. Of course, they get other articles, other writings, and they are able to interact with me on a more personal level. Okay, so we got all that out the way. So let's talk about this strict girl era stuff. Honestly, I feel like strict girl era has been the answer to my prayers. I've always wanted this level of discipline for myself, but I was always unable to acquire this level of discipline. And one of the reasons why I was always unable to acquire this level of discipline is because of how I was trained. And how I was trained and how I was groomed was put your man first and put getting the man first, right? Even though that wasn't something that was explicitly said to me, it's something that was like conveyed to me. And I would prioritize, and I didn't even realize the level that I was prioritizing romantic relationships over my goals. I'll give you an example. I have a friend. She no longer lives with the person, but she used to live with a man, okay? And I'm giving you this story because it also applies to me. So she used to live with a man. And the entire time she was living with this man, she had goals. She had goals before she started living with the man. She had certain things that she was trying to buckle down and do. But she was just unable to get this stuff done while she was with this man. After the man went away, I'll say, after he was gone, all these different opportunities and things started to open up for her, things that she had been wanting to do. And I talked a little bit about this in my last video. Things she had been wanting to do, all these different opportunities and things just kind of like woke up for her. I don't want to say they opened up, but they woke up because she had been pining away at this shit for a while. And I have this same experience. Like, I have this same story. Is I was pining away at certain things, and some of these things were not like, oh, I want to be a ballerina at, you know, the New York dance company or whatever the famous ballerina school is. It wasn't something that was super lofty or like crazy for me to want, right? It wasn't like, they were really a lot of, to me, they were like necessities. But I just, the entire time I was in this union, I was unable to obtain these things. And I was just really going through the motions, sitting around wondering why my shit was so fucked up. And same thing with her. She just was like, I don't understand why I just can't get right. Like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and these things are just not working out for me. And I'm not understanding. Like, I'm doing everything right. Which leads me to my other point. So she was doing the spiritual work needed to... She was trying to keep her spiritual hygiene up. You know, she was trying to keep her spiritual hygiene where it needed to be for where she was trying to go, right? She was doing her spiritual baths. And I say this because people come to me all the time, like, girl, I want to learn magic. I want to learn hoodoo. I want to learn how to cast and how to do all these other types of things. And like, that's honestly, that and astrology are some of my favorite things to teach. Like, I love teaching those types of things because the opening up and the progression that a person goes through when they take back their sovereignty and they begin to study the planets for themselves, or they begin learning how to move energy through candle magic or other forms of magic themselves, it's like, it's powerful. And it's very, as a teacher, it's exciting to see for somebody to be like, girl, I burned that candle and I got a new car. Like, it's so cool. Or, girl, I burned this candle and this really, really fine guy asked me on a date, and 3 months later they're in a relationship. Like, it's so cool because I'm like, yeah, look what you manifested for yourself. Okay, y'all, give me 1 second again. Clearly, I wasn't ready. I was not ready when I started this video. Okay, so I said all that to say, I'm very big on, like, I'm just very big on, like, learning for yourself, studying for yourself. Because you could, like I do, you know, people sign up for my rituals all the time. But you are going to be a beast, and you're going to learn how to do stuff when you learn how to do things for yourself, it just gives you a sense of power. Now, granted, there are certain practitioners, if they say they're going to do a money working, I want to hop in, you know, because I know that they know how to move money, right? They have money. They do well for themselves. They have successful businesses, right? So even though I know how to do workings for myself, it's an added layer of energy that is still helpful for me regardless or whatever. And that's part of why they do the work. But for those of you who have been doing work for yourself and you feel like you don't know what you're doing or things are not working out for you the way you want to, you need to check the person that's next to you. Like, that's the biggest thing. And again, I said this in my last video, but I'm kind of expounding and also going to segue more into like magic. Like, you have to watch the person that's next to you. If your work just will not hit and you don't understand why your work just won't hit, it's the person that's next to you. I know this is hard to grasp. Either they're actively working against you or they're evil eyeing you. They're just putting negative stuff out. You ain't gonna be able to do that, girl. What you trying to start a business for? You need to be trying to do this. Or they're physically blocking you from doing the things that you want to do. I was literally watching a video today, or a TikTok, and this lady was talking about how once her boyfriend realized that, like, the gym, her name is Queen Sovereign on TikTok. Once her boyfriend realized the gym was like her safe place, I'm trying to get this last on y'all. He started to call her during the times that she would go to the gym. And she realized that he was using that as a form of control, because if she didn't answer the phone, right, he was going to clown about her not answering the phone. So it's like, and I used to have a boyfriend like this. My first long-term, I guess, relationship, I guess if you want to call it that, was like this. As an adult, I'll say. That's how he was. And she said after a while, she actually started getting anxiety when he would call her. Because one, he was going to flip out if she answered the phone, but also just the way he was policing her time and controlling her time. And that's part of the that's part of the energy siphoning that I was talking about. Because they will also, if somebody can control your time and bother you while you're trying to meditate, or they know you're trying to take a class and they're calling you during class hours, or they know that you're trying to, I don't know, they know you're trying to do something. They know you're trying to do something that either requires your solitude, or it's something that you use to it's something that you use for your personal development and growth. It don't even have to be something that you do solo. Maybe it's something that you do with friends, but it helps you grow. It helps you be a better person, and it helps you. Where's this other sponge at? I just had it. It helps you to accomplish whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. So they will do anything to throw you off from that, including and not limited to, I'm trying to figure out what I did with this sponge, y'all. I literally just had it. Okay, here it is. To police your time and to control your time. And so this is why I used to always have this little twinge of like, I used to think it was weird when my married friends would be like, oh girl, I can't talk to you right now because my husband's in the room. I gotta do this. And I'm like, what? But that's part of why. They don't want to hear his mouth. He got it set up to where you're going to shrink and twist yourself any kind of way. Answer the phone while you're at the gym. Whatever it is that he got you doing that's uncomfortable for you. That's what I'm saying. If it's comfortable for you, you don't mind doing it. You don't mind checking in with a motherfucker every 20 minutes. Cool. But most people don't want to do that. And so if you have to do that for somebody, it's because they are dominating and controlling your time and your life and everything that you have going on. That's really the whole point. It's to kind of keep you on a hamster wheel, to keep you uncomfortable, to keep you on your toes. Because if you're on your toes, you can never really quite relax. You know what I'm saying? If they always know they can call you and interrupt whatever the fuck you're doing, like, and they take pleasure in that, you know what I'm saying? They know that if you don't answer the phone, they're going to make a big deal about it and they're going to talk about it. I used to have this ex. I had this ex. He would talk about stuff for days. Like, and I'm very, this is why I try to tell y'all, these men are not as stupid as they would want you to believe. That's something that they just kind of put on. They're not as, they're very perceptive and they know what they be doing. So he would talk like I'm clairaudient. So I'm very sensitive to like sounds and stuff like that. I can't really do a whole bunch of noise. I know that probably sounds crazy because I'm a parent, but I really can't do a whole bunch of noise. Certain noises just really irk me. I can't deal. So, you know, you can say I'm neurospicy or whatever. That's fine. I don't care. There's just certain noises I don't care to hear, and if they're going on for long periods of time, I get very agitated and aggy. So, and I don't like people talking to me early in the morning either. I explained this to this person, and they would still do it, and it was just a form of them abusing me. Now, because if they can wear you down psychologically, they can do whatever the fuck they want to do, and men know that. Okay. So another thing, one of the other things that I was really wanting to talk about is with magic. Y'all gotta stop with this, like, and this is part of why y'all need to make sure y'all have, I tell you, I like teaching magic. Y'all need to have better teachers. No teacher that really cares about you is gonna tell you, oh, go do a money spell and then you should be able to get this much and then that's it. No. It's a continuous work. You don't get to do one spell and keep going. That's why I'm saying it's a lifestyle. And it's not because if you only do one spell, the boogeyman is going to come up under your bed and something's going to happen to you. It's not that. It's about energy. And you have to keep building the energy. And if you stop, this is something that I learned from Rain, actually. I don't know if you guys follow her or whatever. She's here on YouTube as well. She has a very successful magic business, mystic business. You have to keep building the energy, bro. So like, it's kind of like when you pray for something one time. It's not to say that if you pray for it one time, you can't get it. But you have to not only behave as if you're going to get it, right? It's law of assumption shit. But you also have to, like, stay on the vibration of what it is that you're looking for. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to do magic. Is to work with candles. That is one of the most powerful things you can do because it's going to, that flame, that fire energy is going to keep it going. But this is the thing. Here's the gag. You can't sit up here and do 1 7-day candle. You have to keep, again, you have to keep the energy going. So you may have to burn 7 of them candles before that shit pop off. You might have to burn 13 of them candles before that shit pop off, right? And there's ways to cut down the time. There's ways to quantum leap into what it is that you want, right? But you're going to have to, depending on how big the ask is and depending on what type of psychological barriers you have to what it is that you're manifesting, because really, once you really tap into your power, you won't even need a candle. The candle is to push it. The candle is to push it. Calling on a spirit is to help push it and for support. But if you already are psychologically tapped all the way in the way you need to be, you really don't need no candles. Okay? So, but any teacher that tells you, oh, just do this one candle and then you can do this, you got to love your life and you can do this and you can do that, they're lying to you. It's a continuous work. And it's actually part of the process when you keep doing the work because you're learning things and your spirits are teaching you things along the way. It's a journey. And after a while, after you've done this work for a little while, you learn to enjoy the journey. You learn not to freak out if something doesn't show up immediately or doesn't show up exactly how you expected it to show up. You just kind of learn. You learn how to so it's multiple things. You learn how your spirits are communicating to you. You learn how they're communicating to you, and you learn what they're saying. All of that is a process. So again, for instance, when people come to me and they're like, oh my God, I want to learn how to do it. I want to learn. I'd be like, do you have an ancestor altar? Do you communicate with your ancestors? Do you feed your ancestors? 90% of people tell me no. And I'd be like, bro, that's the easiest thing you can do. That's the easiest thing to do, and that's the first step. I'm not going to tell you, this is me. You know, I don't know what other teachers are going to tell you, but I'm not going to tell you to start talking to Stan.Store and you ain't never talked to your grandmama, and you ain't never talked to this person. I'm not going to tell you to do that. Can you do that? Yeah, sure. I'm just trying to tell you, or I'm just trying to help you have the most positive transition into this type of work. You know, because Stan.Store can't help you manifest a car, but so can your grandma. So can your grandfather. So can your great aunt. So can whomever. You can still manifest these things. But see, that's what I'm saying. It's less. You're going to make your life more complicated if you are a novice in this type of practice and you try to go do certain things with certain spirits that are not gentle. And it also depends on your bloodline as well. Some of y'all have praying grandmothers and other things that you have access to certain spiritual gifts and tools because of who your ancestors are and because of the spiritual foundation that's been laid before you, whether you know about it or not. Okay, so I found out that my paternal grandmother used to read cards. When I started reading tarot cards, she used to do cartomancy. When I used to do tarot cards, I didn't have there was nothing other than obviously her spirit telling me what to do with these cards. I didn't get to sit down with my grandmother and we go over this stuff like some people have the blessing to do. So that was already something I could tap into that maybe somebody else, they could read bones or they could read faces or they could do something else that maybe I was not ancestrally gifted to do. Maybe I can learn it, but I wasn't ancestrally gifted to do it. So you just have to be consistent with your work. And that's part of where having a mentor or a teacher or coach helps a lot. You just have to be careful because a lot of these people are just out here for money. Another thing about doing spiritual or doing magic for yourself or developing a magical practice for yourself and even eventually for others, your first line of defense is your ancestors, one, but two, your spirit team, if you take care of them, they are going to back you up 100%. That's something that I have learned. I learned that this year. Because I actually had lost faith in my spirit team. I had lost faith in the practices that I was doing, and I had stopped for a while. And my team came back up for me. Like, if you show up, they will show up. And it's very, very important that you keep that line of communication open. I see so many people that be going through stuff, and I be like, when was the last time you sat down at your altar? When was the last time you fed? Or you went here, or you did this? And they just be like, girl, I've had so much going on, I haven't had time to do that. And I'm like, bingo. Bingo. You're going to have to, like, this is the message. If you want something to change, you have to do different stuff. You have to do different stuff. And I don't mean this like, oh, like it's hard. Like, if you don't have no money, I would tell you right now, go out and go buy something. If you have $5, go spend $1. And find a way to get your energy together to where you can go spend that $1 and not be stressed about spending that $1. A lot of people are going to have a hard time doing that because they're used to being cheap, which is part of why they're having the financial issues that they're having. They're used to doing cheap stuff. That's what I mean by, like, it's hard. Like, sorry, I burped y'all. That's what I mean. It's hard. It must be spirit moving. It's hard because you have to behave in a way that you haven't been behaving. Your whole body, your whole spirit is gonna be like, don't do that. We scared to do that. We ain't finna do that. Your whole spirit is gonna say that because it's not used to that. It's used to penny pinching. So why would we go spend $1 when we only got $5? That's crazy. No, you're telling the universe, I can spend with ease. See, there's a mind thing with this stuff. And this is why I say you need a coach. You need a coach. You got to get a coach. You got to get coached. You got to get a mentor. Some people are blessed to have godparents. You have to get somebody to help you really learn because for years, I was trying to do a lot of this stuff without proper guidance, and I was making strides, don't get me wrong. And that is what's made me a good teacher, is because I've had to do the trial and error alone. So I can tell you what's safe and what's not safe and different things like that. Like, I've survived some witch wars and a few other things, but it's like the way things will move for you if you tap into your magic the right way. People will think you're part of the Illuminati, or you done did some crazy stuff, because your life will start to just shift. Like, but the process to getting to that level of faith and building up your practice to where you don't miss a Friday, you don't miss a Monday, you don't miss a Thursday, you don't miss and you're on top of your stuff, you're on top of your prayers, then you'll know that you're really on top of your shit. So, okay. That's all I wanted to say. Hopefully it wasn't too much rambling. You guys have a good rest of your day. Peace.